Hey Sagittarius, how you doing? My name's Alex. I think the Oracle and I might have some useful insight for you today. Remember, if this message doesn't resonate, just leave it for someone else. Might not be yours. Don't try to make it fit if it's not fitting. But hopefully you'll find something insightful and at least entertaining. So before I turned the camera on, I got into a little meditation trying to tune into your frequency. Pulled an I Ching hexagram for you. The first thing I got quickly was, make sure you have the correct posture while meditating. It was like an instruction. Posture is extremely important when we practice meditation and yoga. The spinal cord is like, it regulates all of our organs and energies. It's the channel of the chakras. It's the physical manifestation of the chakra channel, the so-called sushumna. And having posture is excellent for your mood. It improves your mood. It improves your health. Maybe you got to see a chiropractor or something. I don't know. I love going to see chiropractors. That changed my life. Everything works better when your spine is straight and healthy and your vertebrae are aligned. You know, all your organs and everything just works so much better. So maybe that's something you've been thinking about. The next thing I got was an image of Harpocrates, who's usually depicted as a small boy doing the shush sign. Harpocrates is sort of like that idea of keeping silent about something. Now there's a phrase, a sort of rule to live by in occultism, to dare, to know, and to keep silent. So basically that means to dare to begin a spiritual practice or your magical practice or maybe even paranormal research, whatever it is, to dare to do it. Because it's unusual, it's unconventional, people might think you're weird. I don't want to say it's a risk, it's not really a risk, but it's a daring thing to do something so unusual with your time and with your energy, with your free time, your hobby, whatever. And then to know, obviously, is to learn, and you'll uncover some secrets of reality. And then to keep silent about it. Sometimes we keep silent just to protect us from a society that misunderstands. Other times it's because the knowledge that you might find is offensive to some people, and talking about it is just going to cause social problems for you, and it's just not worth it. There's the idea of not casting your pearls before swine, not calling other people swine. It's just the quote. But the idea is that a lot of this knowledge will just fall on deaf ears, and it's just not worth talking about, and it just brings bad attention to yourself. But there are many reasons why you might want to keep silent at this time about something. Maybe you're just changing up your hobbies, or you have a new hobby and you just don't feel like talking about it or explaining yourself. I know what that's like. Like if I get into something new and I don't know if I'm going to stick with it yet or not, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy that activity yet or not. I won't tell anyone what I'm doing just because I don't want to be overexcited, get my hopes up about a new hobby, because I might ultimately put it down and then I'll have to explain to everyone why I quit doing the hobby, and it's just like too much explaining. Like, I don't care enough to explain this stuff to people. So maybe just to preserve your mellowness, your chill, just maybe you need some quiet time with yourself. And then I got a third thing for you. This one was kind of intense. I was like in a deep underground cavern somewhere, or you were. I was tuning into your energy. And a big Balrog. Do you know Lord of the Rings? Like the Balrog, those giant flaming beasts. Now in the book they looked more like humans. In the movie they looked like that giant horned like demon beast thing. And that's the one I got, was the one from the movie. And it had like a crown on its head, like this flaming black and orange crown. And it was just walking slowly, and it just turned and looked right at you, made eye contact, and was just completely unperturbed, undisturbed, didn't seem to mind that you were there, and just continued walking. It was weird. Anyway, then I pulled the itching hexagram for you. And so this reading might be starting out kind of heavy. So again, if it doesn't resonate, just watch another video. I don't know, this might not be for you. But anyway, the hexagram that I got was hexagram 23, bow, or falling away. And it has a changing line. The second line from the bottom changes to childhood. So here we have a hexagram that is 5 yin lines and 1 yang line at the top. This is the yin overwhelming the yang. It's symbolized by a mountain on top of the earth. And in this case, it's like an eroded or crumbled mountain that has like fallen away, that has fallen onto the earth, then crumbled down and eroded. It's a state of decay that's going on. And like that last line at the top, that only yang line, is like being nibbled away. Everything was being nibbled away by the yin. Yin is just overwhelming the yang, and everything is on like a weak foundation. And that yang line has to stand firm in this state of decay, in this situation of falling away, of degeneration. That yang line is the last fruit that has not yet been eaten by this swarm of yin energy. Now, a situation like this can usually arise after a victory, because after people are victorious, sometimes they become complacent, and then laxity and laziness and a sense of uncaring sets in, because like, oh, we had our victory, we're great, we don't have to remain diligent or anything, we won. And then a situation can quickly decay after a victory. So after we succeed at something, it's really important that we remain diligent and that we understand the Tao of heaven and earth, this idea that after increasing reaches abundance, it then begins to decrease back towards scarcity. And then when it decreases and achieves scarcity, then it increases back toward abundance, and so on and so forth. And this is an eternal cycle. And we need to recognize these cycles, because a lot of the time after abundance is achieved, we become complacent and we lose everything. Just ask people who are inexperienced with money who suddenly win the lottery or get an inheritance, and it vanishes within a couple of years because they're extremely careless about it. So you're being asked to guard against this sort of laxity, stand firm in a decaying situation, and it'll turn around based on your example. You can defend against this decay just by being yourself and setting a good example of just diligence, not being complacent or resting on your laurels, but organizing the resources you have with intelligence, and continue learning, continue sharpening your skills, continue sharpening your mind. This victory could be anything. It could be a victory at work, it could be a financial victory, it could be a spiritual victory or a mental victory, something that you achieved within yourself, which might be true in this case because we had this thing about correct posture while meditating, the dare to, the Harpocrates of keeping silent. This tells me that like you've achieved a form of, you've achieved a grade of spiritual enlightenment, a degree of something within yourself, and oftentimes this can result in even spiritual complacency, where we feel like, okay, I'm enlightened now, I can just chill, like I don't have to do anything anymore, I'm good, I achieved like the highest sphere of consciousness, I'm fine now, like, and then if we're not secure in that degree yet, we can actually kind of lose it. Now, you never lose anything that you achieve on your spiritual path. We all do have spiritual karmic insurance where we never actually lose anything that we gained, but we can enter situations where it seems like we've lost it, where we can suffer through episodes in life as though we have lost it, because complacency overwhelms the ego, and the ego will forget about the spiritual degree that you achieved and will go back to living like it was living before you achieved that degree. So you need to guard against this. Now with the changing line here at the second line, this indicates that people in your life might be falling away from you. You might be falling away from them. Relationships might be coming to an end for you. Unfortunately, you might be lacking wise teachers. The people you're learning from might be full of it. And you might also lack helpful friends. Your friends might not have your back at this time. Now it's important not to be judgmental of them, because apparently in this situation, everybody is still reeling from this decaying situation, from these aftershocks of this crumbled mountain. So everyone's kind of just a little confused. They're all just gonna mostly just be looking out for themselves, and you probably have to do the same. There might not be anything you can do directly to prevent this falling away of these people in your life. You might just have to accept it. But it's natural for things to fall apart. This is how wheat is separated from chaff. And in this situation, it's like you don't even have to do anything. You know, God is doing it for you. God is separating the wheat from the chaff out from your life. And it can be very painful. It can be surprising. It can be, it can be very difficult, especially when it's not in your control and not necessarily your choice. But falling away happens, and sometimes we find ourselves in these situations where it happens automatically without our choice. Wheat is separated from the chaff without our choice, but it's so that something better can be built in its place. Without this first falling apart, nothing new could be built. So something new is coming in for you after this difficult episode. And I truly sympathize for you. This is a bit of a heavy energy, I know. So again, if this doesn't resonate, like, don't try to make this fit. This is probably a bit of a more specific message for some people out there. But things are being cleared up for you, because you being at this second line, this changing line here, you can like see the foundation, the weak foundation. You notice it, and you know it's a problem. You know things are being built on this weak foundation, or things have been on a weak foundation and have crumbled, have fallen apart because of it. And you're noticing this problem with the foundation, and you're ready and willing to fix that foundation while everything else is falling away. So while that's automatically happening, while God is taking care of that for you, your attention is on the foundation to build a strong foundation for what is to be built in its place. That's your responsibility. Correct posture while meditating. The meditation posture, the lotus posture, you cross your legs and you put your hands on your knees, you make a shape kind of like a triangle, and it's actually known as mountain pose. So here we have the I Ching of falling away of a crumbled mountain, but I got the message for you that make sure you have correct posture while meditating. So you are becoming a new mountain that's going to replace this old mountain that crumbled away. You are the new foundation for something, which is very interesting. So I'm gonna use my own divination system here and pull some tarot cards and some other things for you, and we're gonna develop this reading further. So I've got this system I've developed over the years of 24 symbols, 24 aspects of reality. I'm gonna spin a coin. It's gonna point at one of these symbols, and that's what the oracle wants us to pay attention to. This aspect of life, this aspect of reality that you're being called to pay attention to at this time. So oracle, what does Sagittarius need to know? It's not really pointing at anything. It's pointing at me. It's right in the middle of those two. I'm going to spin it again. What does Sagittarius need to know? Okay. The earth element, it's pointing at the earth element for you. The little upside down triangle, the alchemical symbol for earth, which It's interesting that the I Ching hexagram you got was very earthy, mountain above earth. So yeah, the earth is a very foundational thing. Foundations of stone. We use stone to build houses on top of. There is something very foundational that your attention is being brought to. So what is this earth element aspect that Sagittarius needs to think about, needs to reflect upon? Interesting. The Four of Wands. Now 4 is the number of foundation, and the Four of Wands is an extraordinarily foundational card. It's like home. It's building a new home. It's achieving your dream home. You know, it's the foundation for a happy life. It's doing the work that's going to set you up with like your home base, your a place that you can feel comfortable, a place you can rest and collect yourself, a place where you can be yourself. And this could be a real, actual home. Maybe you're building one or purchasing one. If so, that's great. It'll probably turn out very well for you, considering this this correspondence here. It could also be an internal home, like your happy place. It could be a spiritual foundation you're building for yourself that's very, very solid, something rooted in like a real tradition, something that's very true and reliable, a reliable spiritual science that you've discovered that will really give you excellent results. It's also a fire sign, a fire card, you know, the wands, right? It just reminds you of like a hearth, like a nice fireplace. So amidst this decaying situation, you're building like a happy place for yourself, whether it's internally or externally, perhaps it's both. And it's working out. You've got a nice warm hearth that you're building, that you're working on. All right, I'm gonna pull another card for you. Oh, wow. Mysteries, mysterious. Someone else got this recently. I can't remember. I should have wrote it down. But anyway, here we have a blackbird and a scroll. Now this represents spiritual knowledge, the spiritual traditions, the spiritual tradition with a capital T. This dovetails perfectly with what I was just saying, is that you've probably stumbled upon a very authentic spiritual tradition that's setting you up for excellent results, great internal results, which become external results. You've got your, you know, this little bird is like your mind. It's like, oh, your light went out, ran out of battery. Okay. Well, anyway, you've stumbled upon some really deep wisdom, and you feel its benefits. You feel its benefits very, very deeply. And I think this has resulted in that crumbling mountain. This might be for some of you that your spiritual knowledge kind of disabused you of your illusions, let's say. Sometimes, well, not sometimes, but often, usually, when we have a spiritual awakening and we learn a deep truth about reality, we learn about all of the illusions about this world and the fakeness and fraudulence and deception and illusion and delusion that is surrounding us on a daily basis, how just fake and just everything is just so superficial and illusory, and none of it really matters. There's so few things in life that are real, that really matter. Most everything else is just some form of vanity, illusion, delusion, or some such thing. And I think you've probably realized that, and this can deeply affect our lives. This can make us hate our job, it can make us not want to hang out with anybody, it can make us see through all the bull crap. All the bull crap in life just comes to the surface, you see it for what it is, then you realize, I need a new life. I can't be around these people anymore, I can't do these things I used to do, I don't enjoy any of these things I used to enjoy because of this knowledge that I gained, this wisdom about reality that I gained. And this is a natural part of waking up. It sucks. We all go through it, but it is for the best, and you'll come out the other side. We always do. It's just part of awakening is seeing illusion for what it is. but it's a good thing. I'm going to pull a token for you. Got 64 of these tokens that I carved. 64 symbols. Let's see. Last thing for Sagittarius today. What do they need to think about? The earth element, 4 of wands, the mysteries, falling away, all of this. What's the last thing Sagittarius needs to know? Here we have the ether. Vaya. In Sanskrit, that's this syllable of it's a syllable of va. Here we have another I Ching hexagram of heaven above earth, and here we have the symbol of ether, the above and below, the up and the down, intersecting all the elements. This is the 5th element, right? Ether, the life force. This is that in-between area, in between spirit and matter, that liminal space between spirit and matter. The ether is also the energy that creates our chakras and governs our chakras. That's the ether, that's the between the spirit and the matter. This probably has a lot to do with the spiritual tradition you've discovered. Maybe you've discovered something like Kriya Yoga or Tantra Yoga or something of that sort, where it's extremely effective. It's one of those ancient scientific techniques that has predictable, repeatable results, and it's somewhat rare that people actually stumble upon the real traditions and actually practice them and want to keep them going. I feel like you're one of those people who's like genuinely interested in practicing a true spiritual tradition, and it has already yielded results. And this is just confirmation that like you're on your way toward really good health. You're building a great foundation. Again, the ether, this is kind of like the foundation of the physical reality. When a spiritual impulse wants to become a physical reality, it has to pass through that middle layer of the ether. And in the ether is where things take on all their material aspects. The spiritual impulse takes on all the things that are going to make it matter, like physical matter. It takes on all the elements and everything, and then it manifests as matter. And it works in the reverse. When a material thing is going to dissolve back into the spiritual world, it passes through the ether where it loses all of its material elements and becomes spirit once again. And so it's this middle ground where things are gained and lost. And so you're experiencing simultaneous gain and loss at this time. But it's for the better, it's for a spiritual ascent. And I know it's not easy, but this is a very auspicious sign to go along with this, and this, like the true mysteries. Like, you've got nothing to worry about. You're just going through the natural things that we all go through when we ascend our spiritual path. And I know it's difficult, and you might feel like you want to give up, but you don't have to, because you're having success. You're getting the fruits of your labor, and you're moving forward through it, and what you've discovered will be added to you permanently. That spiritual degree you've earned will always be there now, and there's no unringing the bell, and that's a good thing. You have unlocked something within yourself, and it has had real results, and that can be frightening. We all have our TSW moment. This shit works. It's like, wow, we practice spirituality or occultism or something, and then we have that moment where it's like, oh my God, this stuff is real. I think you've had that, and it kind of blew you away. It might have blown your mind a little bit, but it's okay. You might feel alone, but you're not. There are many of us like you, and we're all here with you. So don't be afraid and don't feel alone. It's okay. It really is. I think that's all that the Oracle and I have for you today. I'm really excited for you, Sagittarius. I wish you all the best. It was great seeing you. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I hope to see you again next time. Take care.